All right, everybody, what's going on? Good evening. I know I'm a little bit late with this video. Usually try to get it up in the late afternoon, but today just had some other things going on. Decided to change the schedule up a little bit, but we have ourselves a Seattle Seahawks injury report from Curtis Crabtree here. We also got some information from the Falcons, and I'll tell you, on the Seahawks side of things, even though the list is decently well sized, it's pretty darn good. Couldn't ask for much better. And this team looks like, other than the guys who are on or just coming off injured reserve, which is not nothing, we're going to have our guys. And I know that this is kind of a warm-up game, or it feels kind of like the calm before the storm, but it's still a game we got to play, and it's still a game we got to win. So let's take a look here. Let's take a look at the picture that Curtis Crabtree posted. Let's zoom in a little bit, and let's talk about what we have going on. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you guys about Sleeper. I'll tell you a little secret as well. It's more than just a platform for fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users have enjoyed playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but there's so much more to it. You have live stats, real-time updates of all stats. You have a news feed with lightning-fast updates on players and teams, and a real-time chat where you can engage with other users about plays, performances, games, all kinds of stuff during the sports season. So download Sleeper, experience it for yourself, and don't forget to use my promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit, and pair that with their new promo that will give you a free $20 entry, no deposit needed. So you can use both of those promos. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and going, so check out Sleeper today and use those promos. So first thing, we got quite a few players listed here who are not injured, but for one reason or another, they either didn't have a full practice or didn't have any practice, but there's nothing to worry about. You got Ernest Jones resting, still limited, by the way, so I know he had that little scare at the end of the game against Minnesota, but seems like it was just that, a scare without any actual concern. Drew Lock, personal matter, limited. Not that we're really concerned about that one right now, but hey, I mean, he did play a little bit last week, I guess. You got JSN resting, limited participation, so no injury there. And by the way, this is our one DNP of the day today. Leonard Williams, DNP resting. That's your only guy who actually missed practice today. So, I mean, we're off to a really good start. Okay, so moving beyond that now, let's take a look at some of these full participants. We got Anthony Bradford with the elbow. He got dinged up. He missed the end of the Vikings game, but looks like we are... I mean, I understand that he's currently the most negatively viewed Seahawk in maybe recent memory. I don't know. But still, he is the starter, and this team believes that he is the best guy for the job. Obviously, a lot of people would disagree with that, but seems like the injury has had no real effect. So, elbow, full participant, no concern. Jarran Reed, full participant with the wrist/thumb injury. Now, I'm going to say it again. This does not guarantee that he's able to play this week because he is coming off injured reserve. He's missed about a month. There may be that ramp up where just because you look good in practice doesn't mean you're ready to play in a game. But this bodes well, and he's got a chance to get out there. Again, I'm not in any great hurry to get Jarran Reed out there. This team has been perfectly fine without him, and he's a guy who is an older player. So him getting to save himself for the postseason and for the big games we have at the end of the year is not a bad thing at all. So we'll see where things go with Jarran Reed, but full participant at the very least, he's off to a good start. We got Cody White with the abdomen injury, full participant. I think it's the same abdomen injury he had before, so he played against Minnesota. I imagine he'll play against Atlanta for whatever we might actually need him to do. And again, for the most part, he runs cardio and not much else because that fourth receiver spot on this team just doesn't get a lot of action. And then you got another receiver, Derek Young. And again, this is a guy coming off IR, so he's a full participant. Doesn't necessarily mean he'll be able to play, but I mean, you can't ask for a better start. So he's got a shot, and it's not a big deal either way, but I would not mind having him. I do think that he gives you a little more than Bobo, and maybe he gives you more than Cody White. I don't know, although Cody White, I think, has been doing about as good as he can do. So either way, fine by me. Okay. Limited participants. So these are the guys to keep an eye on, although in most cases, I think that this is, again, we're talking about Wednesday practice. Limited participation usually bodes well for you. AJ Barner, limited participant. No reason to believe this is going to be anything that really takes him out of the game or forces him to miss significant parts of a game. It is 2 different injuries, though, which is interesting. I don't believe that was the case last week. So maybe we'll see where this one goes. Tight ends do tend to get banged up over the course of the season, and he's played a lot. I know he doesn't put up the biggest numbers in the world, but he does play a lot. All right. Julian Love with the hamstring was limited, so he's out there, but limited participant, has missed like 2 months now. You're probably looking at a spot where he's going to be practicing and he's going to be able to do stuff, but he's probably not going to be able to play this week if I had to guess. It's really hard to decipher some of the stuff that McDonald says on Julian Love. Initially, I thought, oh, he's going to play this week. But reading between the lines, I'm starting to wonder a little bit here. Regardless, though, either way, should be fine. Not in any tremendous hurry to bring him back. He can take the time that he needs. Riley Mills, they've already said that he's probably going to need the whole ramp-up period, so I'm not really thinking about getting him back this week. Probably going to be no Riley Mills for this game or the Colts game. Maybe the Rams game. That's kind of where I am. And that's probably that's probably the most optimistic, because you might not want to mess around with a player in his first ever NFL action in the most important game of the year, which that Rams game will almost certainly be. Ty Okada, limited with the oblique, but it's the same oblique as last week, and he played basically the whole game last week, and it looked fine. So I would not anticipate there being any issue with Ty Okada's availability. The only thing that could keep him out would be Julian Love playing, I guess, because if Love plays, Okada goes back to the bench, I guess. And that's it. That's actually all we got. That's every injury listed. That's every status we got. I mean, it's clean. Not all these guys are going to play. I'm already prepared for that, and that's totally fine. But you can't ask for much better, and it's a good place to be going into the December month of the NFL schedule. Now let's go to Atlanta here. Mark Raimondi posted this a few hours ago from the Atlanta side of things. Not super long, but pretty darn impactful. Let's take a look here. So, first of all, we got a couple full participants, a couple of linebackers. I don't think these guys do a lot. Josh Woods, Malik Verdon, both full, so they should be good to go. No reason to believe anything else. And then they got one guy who's limited, but it's not even an injury. Caden Ellis, every reason to believe he's fine. So we're not really looking at that. But we've got some very notable things going on in the DNP list, and an Atlanta team that is already really not getting much to go their way right now. You can definitely see how they could be down to the nub this weekend against Seattle. First of all, Drake London is day-to-day, did not practice today. Raheem Morris, when asked about Drake London in his press conference today, basically just said he's got a shot. So he didn't sound super optimistic to me, but we'll see where this goes. Obviously, the Atlanta Falcons with Drake London and the Falcons without Drake London are pretty different. Drake London, very good. And you take him out of the equation, they don't have a lot at that receiver position to scare you. Kyle Pitts basically becomes a receiver, which, I mean, even with Drake London out there, he's basically a wide receiver at this point. He does not block, but Drake London, their number one guy, good player. Without him out there, their offense, which is already not operating at a high level, goes down a notch. Got a safety, DeMarco Helms, I don't believe he's a particularly big contributor for them. He is a DNP with a hamstring, so he might miss. And then you got these last two, which there's actually quite a bit going on here. Brandon Dorless, rookie, he's actually done quite a bit for that team this year with the groin injury. DNP, we'll see what happens, but if they don't have him, that's a guy who has given them like 30 snaps a game, and he's got like 5 or 6 sacks. He's been pretty decent. So even as a rookie, that's a pretty impactful element to lose. One thing about this Atlanta team that has been pretty good is they do get after the quarterback, and Dorless has been a part of that. And if they don't have him, I mean, they already have enough problems. And then you've got David Onyemata, another defensive lineman who plays more. He gives you like almost 40 snaps a game right now with the foot injury. He's been good for them. If you take these two guys out of the equation, that's a big chunk of their defensive line, and there's not really a lot they can do to completely mitigate that. That would be a troubling development for a defense that is pretty dependent on their ability to get to the quarterback, and they don't really do too much else right. So, I mean, Dorless and Onyemata, if those guys are out, that defense, which, I mean, let's face it, even as it stands, it's not really good. You really don't have a lot to work with. So we'll see where things go tomorrow, but right now things don't look great over there. That's it. So let me know what you guys think. It's a pretty favorable situation, but we got to get to the end of the week. All right, there's going to be at least one more video today. I'm going to be streaming on Twitch later for sure, and hope to see you guys there. Go Hawks. That's the current 4-1-1.